Cowboys traded for Jonathan Mingo for a 4th rounder. You start here. I want to hear you. I want to hear you on this one because I know I have some opinions on this, but you go. I'm going to give you the floor.
Well, let me throw your question. Let me answer your question with a question. Would you like me to start positive or would you like me to start negative?
Go positive because I actually want to hear a spin on that.
All right. Well, number one, maybe the best transaction the trade the Panthers have made in the last 3 years.
Hey, go. Yeah,
maybe. I mean, maybe. I know they did acquire the most important offseason acquisition in Deontay Johnson, but they
now
ended
with
up
the Ravens, so that might still stick.
And also, I mean, they got more draft pick compensation for freaking Jonathan Mingo than Deontay Johnson. That one. Try to make that. I mean, they traded away their wide receiver 1 and got less draft pick compensation for the guy that had fallen obviously behind Johnson. Their 1st round pick this year, Adam Thielen, and Jalen Coker, Holy Cross UDFA. So he was like the 5th receiver on and was playing behind David Moore even this week. So again, I mean, make that math work in your head. So good on the Panthers. Good move.
That's a good start. Contracts do matter. I get
contracts
that.
Contracts matter, I guess, but like
let's hear the other side of this.
Yeah, well, okay. So, but to keep it like a little bit of a not silver positive lining picture on Mingo, but silver lining is I would say that I know Mingo's efficiency metrics are horrible. He has not been a positive impact player in the NFL at all at this point. I would also argue that he was completely misused by the Panthers staff last year. You know, we've talked about Mingo previously on other shows, Nate. That's a guy that I thought when you watched him in college, like he was definitely a candidate to move into the slot and be like a power slot player. And at the very least, if you're going to use him on the outside, have him be off the line of scrimmage and have him run right routes over the middle of the field, you know, yards after catch opportunities, things like that. Everything I just said there, the Panthers last season basically did the opposite. They wanted to be like a vertical wide receiver, which there was no evidence on his college film that he could do that. So, and it's crazy because they drafted him with such conviction, like a project receiver high in the 2nd round, and then just kind of threw him into the deep end. It's a little bit similar, but not. It's a little bit similar to what the Chargers did with Quentin Johnston in his rookie year, where again, no similar evidence Yep. Very, very similar. But again, I mean, I don't think that he's a guy that on film ever was like, well, the film was not good, so it just. What are you going to do there? You're going to like roll cater for a guy that's not performing well, but maybe, okay, he goes to a new team. They like to do 50-50 stuff with CeeDee Lamb. Maybe he gets more slot reps. He moves around all that stuff. At the same time, though, a 4th round pick, what Dallas needed was a guy that is going to be more of a true outside man coverage beater. And like Mingo's not that. And I can't think of my first instinct when I saw this was, because we just talked about Dallas last week on the fantasy show, Nate, and all of the like outside stop routes that they run. That's about the worst thing I could imagine Jonathan Mingo doing.
It is. It's as soon as I saw that trade happen, I was like, really? It's a glorified gadget guy. It's Mingo's college tape was him lining up at tight end and running across the field. Yeah. Like you're lining up at the slot. So like that's where I agree with you on the power slot stuff. Mingo's usage looked like Elijah Moore's usage at Ole Miss because they were Lane Kiffin was like, I know where my bread is buttered. But like Eli Moore showed more from the outside than Mingo ever did, despite being way smaller and all that. Yeah, this one, it's thumbs down for me, not for the Panthers side. Good for you guys. But no, for the Cowboys side, because this isn't the role. I see his size, I see the height, weight, speed and all that, but it's like his actual, how he plays is not an X. It's not a traditional Z. It's a move around runway route guy like you were just describing. And he's lined up in the slot 42% of the time this year, I think, according to Next Gen Stats. All right, so why are you doing that? Why are we trading for this guy that needs to be loosened up and move around? As like CeeDee Lamb also works really well when you move him around. So I don't know. Just another. Once you're moving him to F tight end, you know, like
you're gonna run 12 personnel. Ferguson's your inline guy, and Mingo's your off line of scrimmage kind of tight end. I don't know about that. I mean, it's crazy too, because in a world where Dak Prescott was going to be healthy, I guess you could say, because you and I have talked about this before too, like, hey, broken. We got to fix it. Let's put CeeDee Lamb at X receiver and open up other people and see what happens. Well, now you've got Cooper Rush under center. They're even talking about like maybe we'll get Taysom Hill. I mean, I just called him Taysom Hill, Freudian slip. Maybe we'll get Trey Lance some reps. Let's do that. Well, you know what you're gonna if you got your backup quarterback in and maybe you've got your third string Taysom Hill adjacent quarterback, you're getting some packages and things like that. You're not putting your best receiver, who's also dealing with an injury now, at the farthest position on the boundary on the line of scrimmage, and you're going to make him play the hardest role. No, you're going to probably want to move him closer to the offensive line. You're going to want to move him closer to the line of scrimmage and have him do more slot stuff because we're going to be trying to get layups for these backup quarterbacks. But now if you bring Mingo into the mix, you're putting CeeDee Lamb at X, I guess, because he can win there and Mingo can't. But now you were roll catering to a guy we just traded. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
It's a lot of investment for a guy that needs a lot of help just to like be a tangible player.
Functional. That's the thing. Like, could he be functional as a power slot? That's what we're after the rookie year. Like, same thing with Quentin Johnson in LA. We're not shooting for superstar. We're shooting for functional, and he's doing that because they've catered to him a little bit. I don't see how that's going to happen with Mingo in Dallas.
Man, you just saying the Trey Lance stuff. It's like, so the same interview, Jerry Jones says, oh yeah, we're putting Dak on IR for at least 4 weeks. And then we're also trading for a receiver. And it's like, do you hear yourself? Do you hear? As soon as you say the first part, that should make the second part never happen. That should be, oh, we're putting Dak on IR. Trey Lance, get out there. Let's see what you got. And that should be the rest of your season. They're playing the Eagles this week, then the Texans Monday night, then the Commanders, who are no joke, and then they got the Giants. Giants defense is no joke, even though I know there's patches with it, but it's not a joke. Then they got Bengals. It's like they're not playing like easy teams. I know the Bengals defense is not as terrible, but their offense isn't. So it's not like they're like, oh yeah, we can really just ease this in. Like, yeah, we can keep it up. Like if they go 500 over that stretch, that's fantastic for them. And that's still like, that's gonna be tough. I know it's a wide open NFC, but it's like, do you guys know what you are? The answer is no. But it's just a frustrating team this is how I felt about them in July. And I'm even more frustrated about them now that we start in November. So I didn't understand this at all for the Cowboys. But like I said, good for the Panthers for get something. But when you need, the biggest compliment I can give a player, especially a receiver, is that they're scheme proof. But as soon, like, that means it doesn't matter who the play caller is, what their role is, they're going to contribute to the game. You get this guy, like you just said, who needs so much help just to be functional. That's not a guy you trade for. That just, to me, is, and they're not outstanding enough in the one role. Why are you doing so much work just to make a guy be okay? Yeah, that's just bad team building to me. Just, I don't care what he ever ends up becoming.